So pretty much, guys, today is an OBS episode, but it's more of a Let's Be Real episode. And I decided to make a document, a video doc, inspired by Clean Prince Gaming, obviously. Inspired. I'm not stealing his shit. But I hope you enjoy this document, and let's get started with it. Judging from the title, you guys are probably thinking I'm trolling, but no, I'm not trolling. I'm actually being very serious here. I'm actually making a doc to explain why I actually do like Vampire better than God of War. God of War being a hack and slash that just came out, which is God of War 2018, and Vampire, an open world hack and slash that just came out in 2018. Both of these games are very different, and yet they are very similar at the same time. What makes them similar? What makes them different? Well, first of all, I like to start off by saying, I like Vampire a little bit better than I do God of War. God of War was a game that I've beaten, and it was a one and done for me. While Vampire, it's a multi-playthrough type of game that I will play over and over again, just to see the various outcomes and different explanations in the game. The reason why I say I do like Vampire better, well, let me start off with this.
Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Something about a map. Nothing's happening. It's over. A lot of people in the audience look pissed.
A lot of nothing happens in God of War. While again, I do like the gameplay and the overall graphics and everything of God of War, this game has a lot of nothing in this game. While this game, it does have great combat. It does have everything going for it. It has a lot of things going for it. But what is there to do in God of War besides the collection? Nothing. All you're doing is combating enemies and waves of enemies, and you're walking forward. There are even sections of this game where I was literally bored just watching Kratos row the boat. I didn't want to row the boat for a couple of hours straight, but it felt like it was minutes, it felt like hours, and I was legit bored with it. I had no fun doing this. But in Vampire, there is no section like this. There's only one section in the beginning of the game, and it truly shows how different these games are. And mind you, a lot of people won't think God of War is a hack and slash. It is 100% a hack and slash. It's a hack and slash with RPG elements, while Vampire is a hack and slash with also RPG elements, but better uses toward those elements. Let me explain some more.
You clearly got off at the wrong bus stop, so why don't you? Okay, but why though?
While God of War has these elements and these moves, they are all on a cooldown, but the cooldown feels kind of pointless simply because you're Kratos from God of War, you're an established god, and you've never had cooldown before. While cooldown is not especially a new thing in games and hack and slashes, it just feels disingenuous in this game simply because we played through a game, multiple games with Kratos, and all he had was a magic bar. And once the magic bar went out, that was more of an explanation of why you can't use specific attacks anymore. While Vampire, you do have multiple attacks. You have numerous amounts of attacks that you can use at the same time, and they do have cooldown. But at the same time, you're a vampire. You drink blood or you do anything that's blood related, you will gain those abilities back even faster. That's why I said this game is better. That's one of the reasons. The combat. Oh man, let's get started on that combat.
Really?
The combat in God of War, while being fantastic, is literally stuck behind Kratos in one angle. This one angle truly says that you cannot turn the camera around at all. You have to literally turn Kratos the same time as the camera. It literally sticks Kratos in one direction of attacking. You can't attack behind you. You have to either get a warning or anything behind you. While Vampire legit puts the camera backwards and lets you fight freely in a range of all the directions. It allows Jonathan to turn around while the camera is pointed at him to attack behind him just in case an enemy is. It also has better lock on because it truly shows you where the enemies are. While the camera, it is a very unnecessary thing in God of War. Vampire truly has its instances where the camera can be bad, but then again, the camera does do it justice when you're in battle. You can freely move from one enemy. Your dodging is a lot better, and you're not slow moving like molasses. You actually move pretty fast in Vampire. And you have a stun bar and an attack bar. Guess what? Guess who does the stun bar thing better? It's definitely not God of War. Vampire does that a lot better than God of War. You can both stun and attack an enemy at the same time, while in God of War, you either have to have your stun attack the enemy or find a way to stun the enemy with your fist. And nobody wants to fight with the fist when you got the axe, correct? Next is stuff like the weaponry and the small stuff.
Great practical joke, Jim. Got me go to the annex. No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
While you are stuck with little things like bats and stakes and swords and vampire, God of War only has the axe and the swords and your fist and the shield. That is a minuscule amount of weaponry compared to the past God of Wars, and thus making your combat options a little bit limited, while Vampire has numerous amounts of options including guns, stakes, knives, swords, bats, sticks, scythes, and numerous weapons that Jonathan can use throughout his adventure. You even have to include the blood weapons, where you can use your claws, a shield, make a javelin, and do all kinds of things that you couldn't do in God of War. And it's all the more better for it. Sure, the graphics may not be the greatest thing in Vampire, and yes, God of War does have better graphics hands down, but let's get to the real meat and potatoes of what I'm talking about here.
Why did I even open the door? Ah! Getting excited. Now I gotta go to this thing. Ah, bite me. Laughing already just thinking about it.
God of War's fun factor. The fun factor is a one and done type of game. While God of War, really fun to play through the game once. It's really fun to find out the story, but once you find everything out and you fought on all of the 3 bosses in the game, and I really mean 3 bosses, the game is tiresome. You can't even travel to half of the places in the game, simply because half of them are just arenas. The flame area, it's just a bunch of arenas until you fight a Valkyrie. While in Vampire, the world is a giant part of London where you get to visit multiple towns and cure people. It actually is more fun to simply roam around, go help a section of the city, go help people cure, go stabilize a section of the city, go unstabilize it, kill. You have multiple choices. God of War, you have one single choice and one single path that once you complete the game, you almost don't have to play the game anymore. While Vampire, there are multiple endings to play the game with and multiple choices that you can do. You can either be a vampire or a doctor, which in my hands, it's more fun. It's more fun to walk around as a doctor, either be a good guy or a bad guy. It's more fun to play around and fight these bad guys. It's more fun to fight the vampires. Oh, did I forget to mention that Vampire actually has multiple different bosses? Granted, yes, a couple of them, namely one is a regular enemy after you beat him the first time. But at least the bosses with the health bar are a little bit more succinct than God of War, having me fight the same fucking boss over and over again. But hey, what do I know?
And that's pretty much it for the doc. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys can have a clean discussion in the chat. That being said, that's Swatfang signing out.